Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions so that we always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Yeah, good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. You are all welcome to today's sitting. We apologize for the late commencement of today's plenary. Let us quickly go through the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 5th March 2024. Page 150, page 151, 152. I have examined the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 5th March 2024, and approval is granted. Any message from the governor?
Mr. Speaker, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Distinguished honorable members, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, mass. There is no message from the governor, sir.
Any other announcements?
There is none, sir.
Petitions?
None, sir.
Matter of urgent public importance? Honorable Desmond.
Thank you, my right honorable speaker. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I stand before you this afternoon to bring a matter of urgent public importance on the need to conduct integrity tests on masts and towers in Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, technological advancement has led and has doubled in the last 10 years, and that has seen more technological effects in Nigeria and in Lagos State than we've ever seen in our existence. This has helped in shaping our world today. The construction of masts and towers have become very prevalent and common in Lagos State, and is because of certain purposes such as telecoms, broadcast, medical, and also energy transmissions. However, Mr. Speaker, these masts and towers have age limits. Sometimes they take time, and as such, it causes wear and tear due to environmental factors, natural disasters, and other things. And these affect the stability of these towers and their structures. There is an urgent need, Mr. Speaker, for us to start conducting integrity tests, which includes visual inspection, going to look at the structural analysis, the load testing, so as to ascertain the level of radiation and emission. The non-destructive testing of these techniques can also be conducted by professionals. Mr. Speaker, the integrity test can detect: 1, the potential weakness of those structures, the structural defects, the signs of deterioration, and also these things can pose a risk to public safety. In other climes, like the UK for instance, we have integrity tests carried out regularly into making sure that safety and also to make sure there's structural soundness. In our Constitution of Nigerian Constitution 1999, as altered, Chapter 2, going to section 13 through 24, we are saddled with the responsibility of welfare and protection of lives and property. These are the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policies, amongst other things. There is an agency that is saddled with that responsibility, and that is called LSHA, Lagos State Infrastructure Maintenance Regulatory Body. In section 2, subsection 4 of that law, we are to monitor the erection of towers. We are saddled with responsibility of monitoring the erection of towers laying of cables in the state with the interest of the public and safety. Section 23 saddles LSHA with the responsibility of providing the owners of these towers and masts and making sure that they maintain these facilities. Therefore, LSHA is saddled with that responsibility of conducting these integrity tests to ensure compliance, thereby the need to start doing it immediately, especially towers that are 10 years and above, and also to make sure that this is done regularly. My prayers, Mr. Speaker, is to call on the Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, to instruct LSHA to immediately carry out this integrity test on towers and masts, especially those from 10 years and above, and also to improve on the monitoring and inspection of these towers with a view to ensuring that it is adequately safe for people in the state. And finally, to call on the House, our hollow chamber, to review all laws going with the advancement of technology so that we can be in line with current practices as it is today, of which LSHA is one. I so move, sir.
Honorable Kayode Joseph.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. I rise now to second the motion as been moved by the Honorable.
He hasn't moved any motion, he has just explained himself.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'm also in support of what Honorable Desmond just moved. In respect of this max, I have a very bad experience in respect of it in some of the areas within my constituency the other time. And when this thing started then, that was 20 or 25 years ago, lots of the landlords, they allowed those people to erect the marks in their various houses. And the reason is not far-fetched because of the money that was involved. We now discover that because of the radiation, after so many years, most of those landlords within that assets have died. Though it cannot be substantiated that it was being caused because of the marks, but I believe it has a lot of things to do with all those things. So in respect of that, I want us to do the integrity test as been said by Honorable Desmond. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to also, at this point in time, lend my voice to what Honorable Desmond Elliott has proceeded on the need for the integrity test of our masts and towers within the state. Just as a rider to what he has said, I would just like to further state that when it comes to the regulation of these masts and towers, some of the other things to be considered are the high number of concentration of these masts and towers that are to be allowed for the use of companies, corporate organizations, and what have you. We need to regulate the amount that can be used within a specific location or more, because there are a lot of places where some of these companies have high concentration of the masts and towers. I want to also say that if all of the things that has been posited by Honorable Elliott is put into consideration, it will, however, support and improve the health and safety measures for our citizenry within the state, just as rightly said by Honorable Kayode Joseph. In Ikeja, for example, which is largely also a central business district area, there is a high concentration of some of this masts, and according to the investigations that can be made, I'm sure that if all of this is curbed, it will reduce the pressure of some of this radiation and other health-related issues that have been mentioned by my colleagues. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Jamali.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me at this point appreciate the prime mover of this matter of urgent public importance. it has been a thing of concern for me as well. Looking at towers and everything, but the question was always, do we have, a regulatory body? And it was at that point, a few weeks ago, that I went back to look at the laws that establishes the agency of LSHA itself. And, following with what Honorable Desmond said, there are actually even like Section 14 of that law, which gives the agency the power of regulation, and as it will be of positive effect to the law that establishes it itself. Meaning that rather than just waiting until we pride ourselves as Lagos to be a center of excellence. So why are we waiting until maybe there's a destruction or a disaster to happen before we now start carrying out all of these things? As moved by the prime mover now, or as raised by the prime mover side, I think it is a matter of urgency that we actually look into the integrity of all of these structures. Yes, they say maybe for those that have 10 years above, but even for those that have been newly constructed, are we actually looking into the certification of these structural pieces that have been put in place? So if Section 14 of the law that establishes the agency gives them the power to regulate, rather than waiting for 10 years before we start looking at integrity, I think we can regulate it to the point where they can even look at it earlier. Maybe every 3 years, every 5 years, it could be every 10 years as well. But we must carry out this regulation. And we also look at Section 21 of that same law. It gives the agency the power to actually go and carry out inspection on these masts and towers. Specifically, with the permission of the Speaker, I'll read it. All existing towers, this is Section 21, certification and inspection. It says all existing towers, masts, or cables shall be certified by an engineer of the agency to be structurally sound and in conformity with the building code requirements as set out by the federal and state laws. Right, Honorable Speaker, it is in it itself, in this law, that the agency has a lot of work to do, and the earlier they start, the earlier they prevent any unforeseen issues. We have structural defects, we also have radiation to look into, just as said by Honorable Kehinde Joseph as well. I think it's rather important that we take this matter very seriously, and the prayers are considered, sir. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Moshood.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon, esteemed Honorable Member. Mr. Speaker, this is a fact that we first need to establish, that our community has witnessed a proliferation of telecommunication masts without adequate regulation in our state. And it's high time that we need to call all agencies that need to rise to this occasion to step in and do the needful. Honorable Speaker, my junior brother stays very close to where this mast is being erected, and he complains every time of headache, dizziness, weakness. He has been taken to different hospitals until when you need to change this house you are living. And a month after, Mr. Speaker, the whole of this, what he witnesses concerning his health stops, and really shows that aside from we just conducting tests on this mass, we also need to work with our Ministry of Health. They also need to work in attendance to really show how bad this mass is also damaging the health of Lagosian. Right Honorable Speaker, the lack of regularization of this mass is also needed, because Airtel, MTN, and all other networks can easily use one mass. They don't need to be erecting different masses in different places. So once this regulation comes in, it will be able to also address major challenges we are facing in telecommunication masts without proper regulations, sir. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Shabi.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to commend my brother here, Honorable Desmond, on this issue of mask. I think this is the right time we need to be very serious with this. Now, I looked at it. If the proper environmental impact assessment was conducted, all this issue of the gamma rays we're talking about, which is a cause of cancer, will have been addressed. Number two, you see, most of these must have been powered by diesel engine generators. The question I continue asking, how do they manage their spent oil? When they pour, after servicing their generator or service anything, they pour this on the ground, and this percolates to the ground, affecting our underground water. If it's washed into the lagoon, the living organisms in the lagoon will bioaccumulate all these things to their fatty tissues, and it will biomagnify into human beings. We have been shouting all this, that there must be a synergy with the Ministry of Environment to ensure a proper environmental impact assessment is conducted before erecting any mast. They are taking advantage of us because we are not doing a right regulation on them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I want to thank you all. For us to save time, for those who have contributed, I quite agree with the prime mover and to other colleagues who have said some things about the issue of these mass in our state. I agree that there's a need for us to carry out some investigation as to the quality of these structures. Most of them have been established since the emergence of GSM, and if not, probably they've not been replaced. Only God knows if they have, look and address whatever that is necessary to be done to keep those structures in good shape. I quite agree that there's need for us to call on the agency in charge, to do the proper thing, to carry out supervision on these structures so that we'll be able to ascertain if they can continue standing or calling on the service providers to replace them. And as rightly observed by Honorable Moshood, who has taken words out of my mouth, I think with the level of technology and advancements today, both all these service providers can come together and reduce the numbers and the rates of erecting, mass all around the states. So if they work together, there's kind of collaboration that will reduce what we are talking about. And to demand and raise the issue of health concern, I think our hospitals need to come out and that is why it is necessary for them to keep records and data as to what ailment they have treated and what led to such. So by so doing, you can always analyze what incidents or kind of nature of sickness that is prevailing in our state. So it will be traceable to the source of such sickness and what is contributing to it. So I quite agree with you, Honorable Desmond. But for me, I think what should be done is to invite the agency. So the agency who is in charge will be able to brief the committee and tell us what they have done, what they are yet to do, and how much these providers, service providers, are complying with the law of the state. So, Honorable Desmond, can we please have your prayers now?
Thank you, my right honorable speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you recall, you actually gave the permission to have that discourse with the agency, which we did on Wednesday, which we had on Wednesday. It was as a result of the meeting that we now brought this matter of urgent public.
So you've not been able to highlight the outcome of the meeting, or maybe I wasn't listening.
Yeah. Okay. So the highlight is there's a need to carry out that integrity test.
There's what?
There's a need to carry out the integrity test
Yes.
on all structures.
When have they done one last?
So because the person who was there before didn't carry any, they actually haven't done any at all. So, which is the need for the...
And what is the extent, nature of relationship between the agency and these service providers?
Well, according to the GM, he has informed the service providers that there will be need to carry them, and they are also in tandem with what he has said.
Is it the agency that is saddled with responsibility to do all the service providers?
It is actually a dual purpose. So the agency will supervise the work that they are doing, and for a fee, to make sure that our own structural engineers are there to monitor both the radiation. But as it is done even in the UK, sir, the agency, the service providers are the ones that actually carry out those tests under the supervision of the state.
I think it should be the agency that should, because definitely you cannot write exam by yourself and mark, word mark by yourself. Yes, so it should be the responsibility.
But in section 14, sir, they are saddled with the responsibility of regulating and also carrying out the test.
And that's what we're saying. If you are regulating, you have to regulate. You cannot leave your regulation to the man that owns the business. That is, so if you want to, investigate and examine, that should be the responsibility of the agency. And where the agency lacks the capacity to do such, well, it should be in position to engage consultants who can take it up on behalf of the agency and submit its reports to the agency, which the agency can now base its decision on, and as to how to deal with the service providers. Yes. So I think what we should do is to call on the agency, to carry out the either investigation, examination, or supervision. Yes. So that whatever report can now be given to the committee of the House, then we can now look at the existing law and see areas where we need to come in with amendment to such law.
Okay, as amended by Mr. Speaker, sir.
Well, we just need to call on the agency to embark, on the investigation of the tower, what do you call it, towers and masses around in Lagos.
Towers and masses.
Yeah, towers and masses in Lagos. And give report back to the House.
Okay, so my prayer, sir, is to call on LSHA, which is the agency saddled with responsibility to carry out integrity tests on all towers and masts and bring the report back to the House.
I so move, sir. Honorable Washington.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved, sir.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Yeah. In moving still under what is no longer a matter for the public importance, though it happened last week, if I'm right, or last week, the kidnap of the students in Kaduna, and before then there was one in Sokoto, the people of IDP, displaced people who were kidnapped. And it started in Kaduna. The Maiduguri was earlier, then the Kaduna, then Sokoto. And the concern is the danger involved if this act of kidnapping has become regular and common in our country. I think it's very important for all of us to rise up and find lasting solutions. From Chibok many years ago, which I believe many of them have not been found as we speak, many of them. And now we have witnessed series of kidnapping targeted particularly against the children. While we seek light, we seek knowledge, we seek advancements by sending our children to school, and evil people who are the kidnappers are hell-bent in destroying the future of these children. And I think it's highly disturbing if we cannot provide solution to this problem confronting us, and it's happening almost every day now. Either for economic benefits, those who are perpetrating it are making money, or for whatever reason. I think it is very important to join meaningful people who have condemned this act. And we must not be tired. We must continue to talk about it until we get it right. Security is very paramount and essential in every given society. And if we fail to protect lives, then what do we have as responsibility? So we appreciate the Nigerian Army have been doing their best, have given everything, but we believe they can do more. We believe they can do more. If we have to relocate our barracks and stations to these areas, if we just have to establish new one all around this area, because you talk about Jos, you talk about Plateau, you talk about Kaduna, you talk about Abuja, you talk about Sokoto, Maiduguri, and on and on. So we cannot fold our hands. We must continue, we must intensify efforts to bring this to an end and make sure that the perpetrators are not spared. And we must commend our First Lady for being bold for his assertion and quick response to this issue. You know, even calling for capital punishments. And if you remember, when this thing happened in Ikorodu, that was when we came up with the kidnapping law, where we provide that whosoever as a kidnapper, either intentionally or unknowingly, that the victim somehow died under his custody or her custody, it will be capital punishment. I think we need to review this and call National Assembly as well in support of what the First Lady said. Well, probably because they spared these people when it happened, after staying few months, years in prison, they will be spared, claiming to be a born again. And yet, the act has refused to stop. So I think we must rise, everybody must stand up against this act. We must all rise to condemn. And that is why we've been calling that there should be state police, even though we thank Mr. President and the National Assembly for, you know, taking the bold step. But they have to speed up. They have to speed up. How much sacrifice do we have to make before getting it done? So I think, my brothers and sisters, this is a very important one for us to also identify with our people, with particularly the parents of these children and the children also, for only God knows what they will be going through. Now, children of underage, probably who have not slept outside their parents' house before, now taken into bush. So even forests, I said, so what do we know is happening to them? How are they being treated? I think this is a very important one, and we must continue to talk about it. We must condemn this act, and we must urge every Nigerian to rise up against this act. Honorable, good evening.
Yeah, once again, we want to continue to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for always coming up and taking up matters that have to do with the masses. It's rather unfortunate that day in, day out, we continue to wake up and hear this bad news. It is saddening that despite the economic gains, both the federal and the states has been trying to work out that this economy improves, that we just wake up and we hear the news that almost 280+ students who have been kidnapped in our nation. It is very sorrowful, it is very painful, and all mothers and fathers must rise up to condemn this. We are in a season of prayer. We are in a season where people are fasting to beg God. But we should also look back and see the way things can be done properly. Mr. Speaker, sir, yes, we've talked about state police. I'm sure we can't just imagine that in a community, we are not talking about goats or rams. Or then are we talking of cows? We are talking of human beings. Almost 300 movements. And there's no intelligence report anywhere. It is really, really saddening, Mr. Speaker. And I'm elated that you bring this up today. We are getting to a situation whereby people are dying down there and they are resorting to self-help. People day in, day out pay ransoms, even without informing the security officers. And this is really disheartening. And that's the reason why I'm also accepting the fact that something urgent needs to be done in this regard. I also want to join you, Mr. Speaker, to also appreciate our First Lady. I'm really impressed when she came out boldly to tell the whole world that enough is enough. This issue of pampering them, after they must have done dastardly acts, I think should stop. Anybody who commits crime must face the music. And also, we need to talk about capital punishment. We need to emphasize this, that the offense they are committing are even grievous or greater than the ones committed by armed robbers. Because if you could wake up and pick children and pick women who are vulnerable and take them into the bush and do whatever you want to do with them for many years, I think this House, with my colleagues, we must write with one voice to condemn it, and our voice must be loud enough for the whole world to hear. I want to appreciate you, sir.
Honorable Arubashid.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to also again appreciate your sagacity, your courage in raising matters that are not just to do with only Lagosian, but to all Nigerians at large. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm very happy this afternoon, also too, because I'm known that the bill to establish state police has passed second reading, and it's just a thing of joy to all Nigerians, because that's exactly what you have been preaching, that with state police we'll be able to get to the root of security of each state. That is just too very paramount. Nobody can know my constituency more than I do. And that is exactly how what state police we address. Nobody can understand Lagos more than the Lagosian. Mr. Speaker, we also need to also send a very strong message to all states. Look at what you have raised. Now, we don't even have issue happening like in Kaduna, in Sokoto, in Borno. But you are still telling us that we still need to review the laws that also by kidnapping in Lagos. Mr. Speaker, what are all these other states doing? If they also have these laws in place, these people will also put their hands where it should be. So, Mr. Speaker, let's send a serious message to all states to review to review a law that has to do with the kidnapping, and drastically this kidnapping will stop. He has showed that many states is not demonstrating the type of leadership you have displayed in this House of Assembly. Let all speakers of all states also demonstrate this type of heart, and kidnapping will reduce to the barest minimum in the states. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable sir.
Right, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleague, Mr. Speaker, and ladies come at the right time, sir. I just want to say this, sir. Kaduna, Sokoto, Borno, it has been happening there. They are doing students, kidnapping students over there. But right now in Lagos, sir, for example, in my constituency, sir, there's a man yesterday on his way home who was kidnapped. His name is Taxman. The man was kidnapped, and they are asking for 200 million ransom. It's getting to Lagos, sir. It's good you are talking. It's good you feel concerned, you feel the pain, and you feel it. That's why we give it to you as the right honorable speaker of this house. With the experience, sir, I think they must make it a capital punishment. They should put it whether kidnapping or so or not. It should be now Lagos State now, they are all in Lagos State. They have it by category, asking different price of money. Like that man now, people have started contributing money for them. The man now send in voice mail, asking all friends, every one of us, family, to donate for the man. Sir, this thing is now in Lagos, the kidnapping. We must do something. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Ulmago.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. I must thank the Right Honorable Speaker for his unending valor on matters that affect the communities, not just in Lagos, but Nigeria at large. So, just like he rightly said, the President just gave an executive order to establish a military base in Jos Plateau after the killing that happened earlier in December, because over 200 lives were lost. So we know about insecurity in the country and everything that's been happening, but what I would like to talk about today is the capital punishment. We need to establish that to know that certain things should really not happen anymore. I would like to ask a question to everyone that is here, a mother, father, where is Evans today? Evans is still very much alive. Do we have capital punishment for things like this? We only recently just celebrated International Women's Day. Mother's Day was yesterday. How many people can stand the trauma to say that their children are not coming back home? I don't know how you feel about it, but at the back of your minds, I think every parent, be it mothers in waiting, be it fathers, anyone that is here, we need to all stand up together and now join our voices to this. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Bono.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for raising this matter once again. And we have to thank the First Lady for her boldness to call for capital punishment. So as we are calling for state police, yeah, it's good. But the law that will back up state police is one of the capital punishment that we need to entrench in our state police system. So just of recent, about a month ago, or well, 1 month and a half, the PDP state chairman, Honorable Philip Ivodi, was kidnapped on this corridor, Ibadan Express Road, for over a week or thereabout before they released that man. And are we saying that the security men in Nigeria are not aware of what is happening? If they get any one of these people, let them just take it off from the society. I think that would be the best result to all these things. And sir, we should not forget that within Lagos State, they are in Lagos State with us. And we are not safe. We are not safe. These people are in Lagos State, tracing everybody's, following everybody's footsteps. If we catch anyone, let the law be there to just take that person out of the society. That will be better. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Rekoya.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. Mr. Speaker, sir, in another 4 weeks, it will be exactly 10 years that we heard of the kidnapping of Chibok girls, 276 of them, ages between 16 and 18. And if after 10 years, we still can't get it right, we're still going to lose our children, our tomorrow, I think what the First Lady has said is just in the right direction, that we need to join our voices to ensure that there's capital punishment for all these people that are doing these things. They are enemies of the nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also want to say this, sir. I think the military needs to employ technology in their surveillance. They really don't have to be everywhere, but if we could, there's a way they monitor every part of the country in the Western world. I don't know why we cannot monitor every part of our country. I want to join my voice to my colleagues to say we should call on the military to employ more technology in the charge of their duties. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Said.
Good afternoon, Right Honorable Speaker. It's indeed a pathetic story again in Nigeria, because kidnapping is an economic and social sabotage against the people of Nigeria. It is anti-development. It is retrogressive. It is an attack on education, an attack on human rights. And if we have continuous attack on education, I don't know where we intend to take this nation to. I think I want to thank you. I want to praise the First Lady for raising her voice loud as a former lawmaker. The tenet of that act that says capital punishment should be enacted by the Governors Forum, who has this ability to enact it. when there is no capital punishment attached to this heinous act, people will continue to benefit from the economic gains they are making from this. If these people restrain, our children can no longer go to school, they can no longer exercise their fundamental human rights, even they cannot even walk freely. I think it's an attack on Nigeria as a whole, and it should be seen an attack on democracy. Thank you.
Honorable Togo.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Well, I want to first and foremost appreciate your courage and boldness to bring this issue to bear. So if some of us fail to talk, that means we are coward because you have, laid the sample. Well, in my own opinion, I feel kidnapping could be for economic gain. But this one we are seeing, in my own opinion, I feel is politically motivated. And I feel they were accomplished. If 300 people could be packed in one place, is it a rule? Or are they marching them to the bush? I feel there are some people who were behind it and who are doing it to score cheap political blackmail. My opinion. And I feel there's more to it. We must look inward and see how this issue, if need to be resolved politically, rather than giving us a bad name in the face of international community, seeing Nigerians as unsaved country. While we, the president and the presidency is going around trying to woo the foreign direct investors. Some were trying to create confusion within the house. So I feel it's not a good one, and I want to appeal to those who are doing it to know that Nigeria belongs to all of us. We have no place to go, and there is no gain. If they destroy this country, they will have no place to call their country. So I feel that we should talk to them if need be. Yes, introducing capital punishment, yes, is good. And you know these people too, they are deadly. You know what they brandish everywhere. And we see what happened on social medias when they are, the way they torture their victims. So that will be for other day. Then in Lagos, sir, we still need to do more. Around the Solo, Ikotun, these ones are for business. They will keep people and they will ask for small money, 5 million, 3 million, and they release you. So it's making it very difficult for most of us to move around. So Lagos, we still need to concentrate on our own and consolidate our base, ensure those massive kidnapping do not occur in our state. God save Nigeria and God bless all of us.
Honorable Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to lend my voice on this discussion. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the Nigerian dream that I had wasn't the one of a kidnapping-involved nation. Sir, just like some of my colleagues have mentioned, there is a need to be more proactive on the issues of kidnapping, the rising kidnapping rates in our nation. Sir, this is the time, however, to call on all the executive governors of the state, all the speakers of the state, and I must congratulate you, sir, for being very proactive in such regard with the mention of the kidnapping, anti-kidnapping law that you mentioned earlier. Lagos is already on that pedestal, doing the right thing towards the right direction, and I think all other state assemblies should follow suit. However, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I want to have a clear departure from what most members have actually posited. I do not think, however, that the issue has to do with the laws that are created, has to do with the security formulation and all of that. If issues of kidnapping arise in states and governors, executive, more like executive, the judiciary, the legislature, form an alliance and starts to effect what the Constitution actually states, which is the legislature has the power to legitimize and make these laws. The executive has the power to implement these laws. The judiciary, which is a very significant component of this particular issue, has to do with the interpretation and obviously leading to the implementation by the executive. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, let the truth be told. A lot of our governors in past times, in recent times, a lot of them are always scared when it comes to judgments, executing judgments that have to do with capital punishment and various issues of the likes. Nobody really wants death on their hands and all of that. Those are probably the situations that they look at. Political sabotage, yes, but this is the time for us to look beyond the political circle and think about the livelihood of the people, the citizens, and everyone in this situation, especially our children, Mr. Speaker. We try our best within the legislature, but I believe that enough it is not enough. Evans' case, just rightly mentioned by Honorable Olumegmo, when the judgment was passed, it was given 21 years. But is that enough? Is that enough for someone who had engaged in kidnapping for so many years? Further, honorable colleagues, right honorable Speaker, this is a time when justice must be served, and it must be served adequately and effectively. Laws without real effectiveness is not the right way to go. It's not succinct enough. And if we want a better Nigeria, we must make sure that someone faces the wrath of the law to be able to convincingly prevent other people from going towards that direction. Then we'll have a peaceful Nigeria. Thank you.
Honorable Lubegbo. Sorry. Ogule, sorry. Go now.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to commend the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, for her swift reaction to the kidnappings and the recommendation for capital punishment for perpetrators of kidnappings. I also commend you for bringing this matter to the fore on the floor of the House. Some people are ideologically against capital punishment, but I want them to set aside their ideologies and realize that the menace of kidnapping in this country has gone so far, and capital punishment should be very necessary for offenses such as armed robbery, kidnappings, and murder. There should not be any negotiation for somebody that has no sanctity for the right for somebody else's life, for there to now be a system that will let that person walk free after so viciously violating the rights of fellow human beings. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Saad. Put off your light. Saad, go.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. I want to join my colleague to celebrate and salute your doggedness and that patriotism in you about this our country's project called Nigeria. I also want to appreciate the First Lady as a mother, as a woman, coming out boldly to speak at this time against the menace of kidnapping in our country. Well, my position will be that, is it that we have paucity of law? I don't think so. There are legislation, and Lagos State is setting the space. Is it about executive capacity to carry out whatever judgment that is coming out of the court? I don't think we have too much of that. But I want to talk specifically to the judicial arm of the government in terms of carrying out, adjudicating of matters that relates to kidnapping. The time spent on giving judgment is so long a time that sometimes you even forget to know that such thing is occurring. So if there is need for us to have special court to treat the cases of kidnapping, I think it is worthy of note to go into that as a project. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you for your support on this. And our takeaway from this first is to register our sympathy with the states that are involved, Kaduna, Sokoto, Maiduguri, and the school authorities whose pupils were victims of this evil. Then the family of the deceased, because some people were killed in the process of kidnapping the students. And also to cry to the President, commending Mr. President for his decision on the state's police, commending the First Lady for her boldness and her proactiveness in condemning the evil actions of the kidnappers. Call on our state governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, as a matter of urgency to increase the number of our neighborhood safety corps to embark to support the Nigeria police to put to stop the issue of kidnapping in our state as well. And also we must commend LTV8 television for the regular sensitization that has been going on their channels, raising the consciousness of our people on the issue of kidnapping. So that is Mr. Clark, kindly forward our resolution to all the bodies mentioned. There are personal explanations. Honorable Member.
Good afternoon, Right Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. Thank you very much for this honor to speak today on the celebration of International Women's Day, which we did on March 8th. It's been set aside by the United Nations to celebrate women on this day, and also March 10th to celebrate mothers. I rise to celebrate every single woman here, outside, in the assembly, judiciary, and on the executive. And also to celebrate every single woman that has decided to be a mother, because yesterday was Mother's Day. I must thank every single man also for being supportive, for counting in. We know that the theme for this year is Invest in Her. So I must thank the House of 40 for also supporting every single woman here. I must thank every single person for supporting every woman here in the House of Assembly. We're just 4 of us, and I must thank all the men. We're 36 men for being supportive in making decisions, and we're not asking to lead or to be a leader. We just want to make decisions right beside you, and thank you for counting in. As a mom myself, I am grateful for being a mom to girls. I know that people here, sometimes we know that they say, okay, girls, once they get married, they do not carry on the name. But I must also say that you do not know the joy of you saying you have daughters until you're grown and you're old. I'll share an experience of a particular man that was in the hospital, and he has 4 boys and a girl. And while he was in the hospital for about a month, the girl would drag herself and her husband and her kids to the hospital almost every other day to see her dad on the sick bed. And the son will only come on weekends, just one of them out of the 4. So sometimes, I'm not saying that the men are not compassionate or emotional, but because we know we have a lot of burden on your shoulders. So you've delegated these things to you, which is why sometimes the Yoruba adage will say, Babani Jidi Iyani Wura. Or we shall be a Yaosi. So continue asking to please give us room while you lead, I will be beside you to make certain decisions. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Well, it is very important that we commend our women. There are so many reasons for us to commend them, starting from our coming to this world, to our wives at home for keeping home fronts intact and safe, if not safer, and for taking care of our children, and their contributions to development of our state and nation cannot be undermined. They have done well. We appreciate them. We glorify you. We adore you. We love you. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll continue to give that support, even at times, like the Honorable who just moved that brought the issue of celebration, other persons, just, highlighted. Why women, in this case, a woman, pay so much attention to our father on sick bed. The men were nowhere to be found. But who knows where they were? Who knows who was picking the bill at the hospital? Who knows who was doing other things? But all this, it has always been said that men don't cry. But when you say the load that bear shouldering, you will understand that is beyond something women can bear. So we appreciate you, continue to appreciate you, but also recognize our contributions, recognize our hard work, recognize our support, recognize that we are the backbone, we are the pillars, and we will continue, to do that. And having said this, I think it is an opportunity to call on women too, that there is a need for you women to also do appraisal. The women, things that are happening now involving women, when I say women, I'm now generalizing, that needs to be, looked at so that we can correct this or put stop to it. The moral situation in our society now is something less, particularly when it comes to women, girls in our society. And we have to stop this. We have to find solution. And I'm sure this can only be handled by women as well. Because I'm sure they speak the same language, they understand each other, and they can as well provide advice where necessary. And the implication of this, as we have said, that empower a woman, what happened? You empower a nation. Educate a girl. You do what? You educate a nation. And likewise, in the manner that I'm now speaking, when a woman has problem with morality, definitely everything coming from that angle will be affected. And by extension, it will affect the society and the nation. I think as we celebrate, it's an opportunity to also look inward and identify all these acts that are contrary to our way of life, that are contrary to our own civilization, so that we can start discussing them and put stop to it. But if we continue to ignore and pretend as if all is well, then it will come a time that it will affect a celebration of this nature. Because when you celebrate, you must have something to show for it. We ask you, what exactly are you celebrating? So you must be able to celebrate perfection. We must be able to celebrate excellence. And we must be able to celebrate positive things in our life and in our society. But when we start noticing something that can draw a line between this perfection, excellence, and positive, then we need to act fast. So I join every good Nigerian to celebrate our women, and I also take these moments to also raise issue of concern that we all together, particularly women, have to address. We celebrate women in our state, starting from my colleagues, the women, our Deputy Speaker, Mrs. Moji Miranda, our honorable members, Lara Olumegbon, Oshafile, and Shogodara. And by extension, we also recognize our First Lady, Mrs. Sanwo-Olu, Mrs. Ibironke, so celebrate, and the wife of the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Amsad, and we celebrate Madam Speaker, my own lovely wife as well. We celebrate, I will celebrate all our women in the House of Assembly. We celebrate you, we appreciate you, we thank you for everything you've been doing, and we want to say loudly, we love you all, and we celebrate all women in Lagos State. Thank you, wish you happy celebration, thank you. Yeah, personal, okay, we've done that. Yeah, personal explanation. We want to celebrate also with our Muslim brothers and sisters for this Ramadan which has started, and this is a very special month. It's a month of peace, it's a month of love, and it's a month of sharing. It is a month that has been decreed by Almighty Allah that we all should observe fasting. If you are in good health and you have every reason to fast, there's no reason for you not to fast. And it is not just about fasting, it's about being aware, being conscious of our relationship with others. You know, we must also encourage and support peace in our environment, and it's also a period of charity that we have to share whatever we have with the less privileged, particularly at this time around that things are very good, not to say otherwise. So I urge you, my brothers, my colleagues, that it does not matter if you are a Muslim or a Christian, so but it's a period that we need to reach out, extend hands of fellowship to others, so that we together we can appreciate this month. We pray Almighty Allah will grant us that good health, will grant us life to see the end of this Ramadan and witness more of it. It is a time of prayer. We also pray that all our supplications will be accepted by Almighty Allah. So I say happy Ramadan. Yeah, before we go to order of the day, we have in our midst former Deputy Speaker of this great House, Honorable Kolawole Taiwo, who is sitting somewhere in the gallery. We thank you, sir. You are most welcome. We wonder why you choose to sit up there. So thank you for being part of us today. He was a fourth-term member of this House. So we recognize the good job you did while you were here. So order of the day, Majority Leader. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Reports? None. Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. Order of the day. House of Assembly Bill number 06. Honorable Adams N.B. Etiosa 1. Honorable Majid F.A. Ibejuleki 1. Honorable Kasumu A.R. Ikeja 2. Honorable Engineer David S.S. Badagry 2. Honorable Ajomale O.O. Oshodi Solo 2. Honorable Tobu M.A. Ekpe 1. Honorable Joseph K.O. Alimosho 2. Honorable Owolabi I.A.O. Lagos Mainland 1. Honorable Rauf O.A. Amuwo Odofin 2. Honorable Engineer Shabi R.A.A. Lagos Mainland 2. Honorable Jimo Orelope L.O. Alimosho 1. Honorable Ogundipe S.O. Oshodi Isolo 1. Honorable Ege O.A. Ojo 1. Honorable Orekoya A. Shomolu 1. Lagos State Administration of Civil Justice Bill 2023. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, sir, may I move that a bill for a law to provide for the administration of civil justice in Lagos State to facilitate the just, timely and cost-effective resolution of disputes and for other connected matters be read for the second time. I so move, sir.
Honorable Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion is moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, it is an honor and privilege to read for the second time a bill for a law to provide for the administration of civil justice in Lagos State to facilitate the just, timely, and cost-effective resolution of these disputes and for other connected matters. I so read.
Now, we'll go first. Honorable Jamali.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to speak on this bill, the Lagos State Administration of Civil Justice Bill. Mr. Speaker, you are one who would say wears a cap of many colors, and I think that this bill is coming at a just time. I say this because there are times we've had conversations in which you have a concern about the delay of our justice system and the timely effectiveness of giving the people what they deserve. Right, Honorable Speaker, I would refer to this bill as a pet. And a pet is one in which you believe will be loyal to you at every time. Why do I call it a pet? Because this bill refers to priority, it refers to effectiveness, and it refers to timeliness. What this does is a backing for the plaintiff, it's a backing for the defendant, it's a backing for the lawyer, and it's also a backing for the judiciary itself. Those are the judges and the magistrates in which this covers. Yes, the bill stands out on its own. However, even in the bill, it says that where it clashes with the law that establishes the High Court and the Magistrate Courts, they will supersede. However, sir, the contents of this bill, we cannot deny, if we go through it, will give a just and timely solution to some of the issues that are affecting our plaintiffs and defendants in the judicial system today. Mr. Speaker, I would like to, with your permission, go through some of the sections in which will emphasize the need and the urgency for the implementation of this bill and ultimately conversion into law. If we look at section 3, that talks about the effective management of the court proceedings, where the chief judge is to ensure that there is no lackadaisical attitude between a lawyer and either the judge in preparing for a case. We go further to look at the conduct of proceedings to resolve real issues. This, I think, speaks in section 4, where we start looking at the subject matter in question rather than when a lawyer is trying to play games, look for how to manipulate himself around, look for how to be postponing proceedings of the court. This goes straight to the main matters in question and where the judge can now start the proceedings as a whole. We look at the setting of pre-action protocols by the chief judge. It is also a section in this bill, sir, where it speaks to the fact that the chief judge will set protocols, pre-action protocols, so that there's no unnecessary time wasting. Once the pre-action protocols are set, you go straight into the proceedings of the matter in question. We also have the opportunity for electronic filing, sir. Electronic filing, well, people may argue that it has its disadvantages. However, it is regulated by the chief judge to know at what point this electronic filing may be needed. We have a lot of people who are always complaining that they are not served the physical documents when they're supposed to. They have the issues of they got the wrong address and everything. But however, in a situation where you have all the details, you have the email address, you have the WhatsApp number, you even have social media accounts, which may be questionable. However, direct messages to those accounts are supposed to suffice. The only thing is, such documents that will be sent are the ones that are not supposed to be sensitive and will be directly affected by the recipient of this mail. However, it also has the regulation of the chief judge in that aspect. Right, Honorable Speaker, we can look at section 10 of this law, which some lawyers always take advantage of, because the proceeding would have started and then that's when they want to bring about the jurisdiction of the court. This court cannot attend to this matter, your lordship, this one, that one, and then the plaintiff has to go back through a filing process that can take another 3 to 4 months before getting a date again. At this point, Mr. Speaker, This section explains the fact that that judge, that sitting judge, yes, may not have jurisdiction, but will then automatically and immediately pass it on to the chief judge of the state, who will then assign it to the rightful judge that has jurisdiction to attend to that matter. It saves the whole refiling process and going back to go and pay money and all of that. And all of these things is what causes the loss of hope in the judiciary, the loss of hope in the judicial system. You find a lot of people that will, if we go to court now, it's going to take maybe 16 years. It's going to take 6 years. However, this bill corrects a lot of all the anomalies, sir, and sets us on the right track to a timely effectiveness of justice. Mr. Speaker, I would like to also to speak on court proceedings during the weekend. There are a lot of matters, there are a lot of cases that are of urgent need, that need urgent judicial attention. But a lot of people just look at it that until the court has a date. This law gives the courts the power to sit on weekends, to sit on public holidays, and even to sit on industrial action days. So even where people are saying they're striking, they're rioting and all of that, the court has the power to sit on those days so that there's no delay in the justice system. Mr. Speaker, we look at prohibition of the stay of proceedings. This is where you find lawyers tactically using sense to now say that they want to engage on the technicalities of the court. They want to now start fighting for interlocutory appeals to the appeal court while the proceeding is going on. That delays justice. Because what that means is the main case and the subject matter itself has to be set aside until that interlocutory proceeding is done. However, this tackles that subject matter and it removes it and eliminates it immediately where the real actions and the real matters are discussed moving forward. Right, Honorable Speaker, I would also like to talk on cost against causing of adjournment. This is a very common anomaly that plays out between lawyers. For me, I'm also one who you'd refer to as a minister in the Temple of Justice due to my professional background as a lawyer. So I understand particularly what these people do. When a date has been set by the judge, and then you find a lawyer that will come and start looking and seeking for adjournment. This bill provides for that to stop. So a lawyer who is coming to look for an adjournment date because he's not ready or prepared, a fine will be set. And I don't think there's any lawyer that will be looking forward to paying a fine. So it gets them ready, gets them prepared to come and attend their proceedings. And also, Right Honorable Speaker, there's a penalty in this law for frivolous suits. There was a time I was speaking about it that some of the petitions that are written to the House, some of them can be baseless, some of them have no meaning, some of them have no background. They just want to popularize themselves and put themselves out. In a matter, this bill has addressed such cases where anybody who brings a frivolous suit to the court will be fined a certain amount of money. So all of those wasting of time, putting dates in a judge's calendar that has to deal with other serious matters. You now bring frivolous suits that have no end, no action. The judge has the opportunity to now find those people. So it prevents lawyers and all these plaintiffs and even defendants from bringing unnecessary suits or frivolous suits down to the court. Right, Honorable Speaker, we also have in this bill the advantage and the opportunity to conduct trials virtually. These proceedings are conducted so that when there's issues of you don't want to bring him to court, he can't make it, he's sick, the judge is not available, even on these weekend days as well. There is no excuse, there is no opportunity. It is as long as the provisions are made available, where the internet system is fantastic, the networking is good, this will also serve for timely effectiveness in this bill as well, and in the proceedings for a civil litigation or civil action. Right, Honorable Speaker, there is a saying that justice denied or justice delayed is justice denied. This gives us, this House, the opportunity to accelerate justice, to grant the people of not just Lagos, but even the opportunity for others to jump on this call, so that the civil proceedings that takes years, people have land matters that takes years for it to be resolved. This gives it an accelerated and urgent way of attending to these matters. I'm hoping that this bill would be passed by this House and that the honorable members here would find it worthy of being passed on the floor of the House. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Nabi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. The intendiments of this bill are quite obvious. It means to expedite as much as possible the processes of the law within our courtrooms. But we have to be very careful that in trying to expedite, we don't now not dot our I's and cross our T's. If we look at Section 8, sir, I think it's very important they remove social media as being a part of formal communication, because social media is far too susceptible to hacking and all sorts of phishing scams for it to be a formal form of communication. It's stated there in the bill already that they can...
But there's a provision in the bill that also provide for, means to prove either right or wrong. So there's no way such can be falsified.
Yes, sir. But the problem that I see with social media is with encrypted information for data protection purposes. Only verified email addresses can actually give you that attachment that you can use to send data so that it's actually data protected. So the receiver as well will have to even input a password before they can even open the document and see certain things that is sent to them. And I think with the type of things that go to court, especially with land matters, family matters, wills, and so on and so forth, it's very important that data protection is a big facet when it comes to communicating with anybody that has to attend the courts. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Goodipo.
Yeah. Once again, I want to appreciate the prime mover of this bill, Mr. Speaker. The bill is a trailblazer and is very timely. I want to agree with my honorable colleagues from Oshodi Solo Constituency 2 that it will improve the efficiency of our law system. It will streamline the civil justice system and stop the delay in resolution of civil disputes. This has always been a major issue that we all find ourselves once in a way that our families, when this matter comes up, it will stop that, sir. And more importantly, this same bill will give us clarity and consistency. It provide clear guidelines that you can't mess up with the courts any longer because you have to follow the rules to the letter. And all these delay tactics will have to stop, especially on civil cases that needs the masses, whereby this issue is supposed to be resolved instantly. We see delays and all tactics being used for these matters not to be handled effectively. Mr. Speaker, this same bill will also accommodate the masses having access to justice timely enough for them to do it. It will improve their access to justice for all individuals, irrespective of your category, and ensure legals the ability to approach courts and get justice even at their own timing through the social media, just like my friend, my honorable colleague has already said. They could, through their phone, also enter their matters and they will receive the necessary information they needed there, sir. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look at the bill that was passed in this house, that we are looking at in this house, that has to do with their geographical information, that has to do with the computerized system. So all are working in tandem with each other. This bill would also strengthen that because it will enable negotiants, wherever they are, to have access to their database and then look at what is happening in our court. So even lawyers can sit at home and see what is happening and how to tackle it. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, this same bill, if followed to the letter, will guide against the consequences of problems we've been encountering at law, especially in our law courts.
Thank you. Honorable Moshood.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I need to personally appreciate my honorable colleagues, Honorable Lade Ajomale, using his good office to do justice to this bill. But however, Mr. Speaker, the role of court in administration of justice is sacrosanct to the stability of human society. However, sir, the judiciary is ideal to
to regarded as the hope for the common man. Mr. Speaker, this bill will facilitate the settlement, reduce unnecessary backlog for controversial disputes, and also make the administration of justice easy and accessible for all. Mr. Speaker, this bill will also help in saving costs of traveling for litigants, most especially people with disability and limited financial resources, therefore granting all Lagosians equal access for affordable justice. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Orekoyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Distinguished colleagues, the Lagos State Civil Justice Law Bill has great intentions, as enumerated by my distinguished colleague, Honorable Adi, and as spelled out in Section 3, subsection 1. But Section 14 deals with chamber adjudication without the parties. It is not clear whether the councils will be present. And if councils are not present, it's going to complicate.
That is not in isolation. There's also related section, what do we call it, not section, related one, that if this does not happen, this will take place.
It is not specified that if the council will be present in the chambers when these things being educated on. And that's why I said if the council are not present, it's going to complicate the public trust in our court.
Honorable Kaide Joseph.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to commend the Honorable Ajomale. He has done a very good presentation, and he has spoken very well in respect of the bill. And what the intention of that bill is to give a quick acceleration of justice to everybody. But I have some observations which I believe when it gets to the public hearing, some of the adjustments can be made, which has to do with Section 4, that has a lot of things to do with the adjournment by lawyers. So, and if you look at it very well, what was being said in that Section 4 is that we cannot, that the court will refuse an application for adjournment. And refusing an application for adjournment might also not help what the intention of this bill, because whosoever that wants an adjournment and was not given, at the end of the day might go to appeal. What I think that would have been of good assistance to this is that instead of that, the court can allow such person to call for adjournment for 3 times. After the 3 times, and that he refused to meet up the obligations, probably for each day, it shall be given.
Frivolous adjournment. I think it's talking, I'm really saying something about frivolous, where it is not necessary. You know, many advocates come to courts, even knowing that they do not have say or case. So they'll keep on adjourning, you know, to deny the other litigants justice. So I think the adjournment there is frivolous, will not be entertained.
Okay, sir. And also, when we look at the Section 10(2), which has to do with the challenging the court's jurisdiction. So, at any time, the counsel might request for the court's jurisdiction. And what was being said in this bill is that it is after the hearing, that is then that they will now determine the jurisdiction of the court, which is very wrong. So the best thing for them is to first of all determine the jurisdiction.
Honorable, that is if you are failed to do the needful from the beginning. Because before you join the litigation, you're supposed to raise your...
It's going to be the pre-action. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Rauf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah. First and foremost, I want to give kudos to Honorable Ladi Ajomale.
Can you use the mic, please?
I want to give kudos to Honorable Ladi Ajomale for a job well done. Looking at the way he puts the whole thing, I don't think we have much argument than to to support this bill so that it becomes law. Even though at public hearing, let us expect what people are going to say. Because what this bill is actually about is to expedite the process of justice delivery system. In addition to that, to support that, we have also seen that in this bill, electronic electronic delivery system is embedded in it. In addition to that, the virtual, delivery is also there. So, which means, in a nutshell, it has reduced movement of people, from time to time, and also it has reduced the amount of money that would have would have spent during the course of seeking justice. But that's, apart from that, I believe there's still some points, some issues, some concepts that would need to be explained. For instance, in section 10, subsection 4, where it's talking about status quo. I believe that status quo will have to be defined very well. And I know all this will be treated at the public hearing. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Said.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I really want to commend Honorable Ladi for defending this bill brilliantly. I want to talk on the frivolous suit abuse of the process. I think these are some of the challenges that are working against our justice system in Nigeria and in Lagos State. If the issue of frivolous suits are being put on check, and even in the bill, there is a capital fine of 100 million naira, which I support. Before you bring your frivolous suit to the court, you will think twice before you come and waste the time of the judges. And again, look at the non-contentious application, which is very, very crucial. So, looking at the processes for the filing processes, which is now going to be electronically established, I think it's going to reduce cost, it's going to save time, and it's going to even make our data to be more reliable. And adjournment due to the basis of the procedural, these people, lawyers use this as technicality, to seek for more adjournment. So for you to use technicality to seek for adjournment, I think all these issues are issues that concern the people that have something to do with the court. So it's a welcome bill. If it goes to the public hearing, I think all the issues have been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you all for all your contributions. I think this is a very good one. Its benefits to the society is a very huge one. It's going to be beneficial to everybody. It's going to encourage business atmosphere in Lagos State. It will build confidence of the investors, and it will also caution delaying in giving justice, rendering justice, and the litigants also to their advantage. But the advocates, particularly, that is the area I was looking forward to while the chairman was here. The fine is still to be paid by the litigant or the advocates. That is the question. And that area is not the advocate. So, fine. And I think that amount is also too little, because most times the advocates continue to push forward necessary arguments and motions just for them to continue to extract money from the litigants. I think it's a very good bill. It's a very good, and it does not even accept the judge. It makes it mandatory for the courts to make sure every case before it is timely disposed. So I think it's a very good bill. It's good for all of us, for the business society, for individuals, for everybody. It's a very good bill, and I think we should give it that urgent support. In view of this Lagos State Administration of Civil Justice to 2022 bill is hereby committed to House Committee on Judiciary and to report back in 1 week. Yeah. Tomorrow, there's a program for the states, a state program. The 18th parley between executive and legislative. Is it? Dummy. It's Thursday, okay. I thought tomorrow. In view of this, the majority leader, you adjourn to tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Go ahead, majority leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I have the approval of the Right Honorable Speaker to move that this House adjourn till Tuesday, 12th of March 2024 at 10 a.m. I so move.
At 12 noon.
At 12 p.m. I so move.
Who is seconding?
I rise to second the motion as well.
Who is seconding? Honorable Oluvego.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second.
All in favor say aye. Those against no, the ayes have it. This House stands adjourned to Tuesday, 12th March 2024 at 12 noon prompt. I rise.